Good morning, guys. In the last class, we implemented data collection API. So data collection API is basically used to get the data from the citizen and store into database table. That's it. Take the form data, store into database table. That can be done by using data collection module. Once the data collection module got completed, then the next module is eligibility determination. Application registration completed. For the citizen, application got created. We collected information from the citizen, whatever the data that is required, which plan they want to apply, what is their income, what is their education, kids data, and we have taken all the data and we are storing in the database. Once this data collection is completed, then finally we will go to eligibility determination. So we will give the case number and we will click on determine eligibility button. When we click on determine eligibility button, our system should verify that citizen is eligible for the plan or not. So this is the core logic in our application, determining whether the citizen is eligible for the plan or not. So here, after data collection completed, then eligibility determination module execution will start. What is the purpose of this? This ED module is responsible to determine citizen is eligible for the applied plan or not based on the plan conditions and the citizen data. Some citizens may be approved for the plans. Some citizens may be denied for the plans. Government has decided some rules for every plan. In the real time, for every plan, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 conditions are available. But here we are taking 1 or 2 conditions for every plan. Okay. So once the data collection got completed, we need to determine whether that citizen is eligible for the plan or not. That is called eligibility determination. So in the eligibility determination, based on the plan, we need to execute the condition. If a citizen is satisfying those rules, if citizen data matching with the plan conditions, then that citizen will be approved for the plan. Otherwise, that citizen will be denied for the plan. Citizen will be approved for the plan or citizen will be denied for the plan based on the data that citizen has provided. Clear, guys? After data collection completed, eligibility determination module execution will start. That is responsible to determine the citizen eligibility for the plan based on the conditions. If a citizen data matching with the conditions, if citizen data matching with the plan rules, then citizen will be approved for the plan. If citizen data not matching with the plan rules, then citizen will be denied for the plan. If citizen data matching with plan rules, then citizen will be approved for the plan. If citizen data not matching with the plan rules, then citizen will be denied for the plan. So citizen eligibility approval or denied depends on plan rules. So here I have given some dummy rules, guys. So these are not the real rules in the project. In the real time, government will provide those rules. So we have seen for every plan, 1,000 rules, 1,500 rules are available. Okay, guys. So 1,000 rules or 1,500 rules are available in the real time. Here, for every plan, I have taken some rules. If it is a SNAP, if the employment income is less than $300, then he is eligible for the SNAP. Otherwise, he will be denied for the SNAP. Similarly, for CCAP, there are 3 conditions available for the CCAP. If the employment income is less than $300 and the kids count is greater than 0 and each kid age is less than 16, then they are eligible for the CCAP. Okay. So for the SNAP, I'm taking 1 condition based on the employment income. If the employment income is less than 300, then they are eligible for the SNAP. For CCAP, if the employment income is less than $300 and kid count is greater than 0 and kid age is less than 16, then eligible for the CCAP. Medicaid, if employment income is less than $300 and property plus rent income is 0, then eligible for the Medicaid. Okay, so these are some dummy conditions, guys. These are not the real-time conditions. Okay, If a citizen age is greater than 65, then only he is eligible for Medicare plan. Medicare is for senior citizens, right? If their age is greater than 65, then they are eligible for the Medicare, RIW. If a citizen is unemployed and graduated, then eligible for citizen is unemployed and graduation completed, then that citizen is eligible for the RIW plan. So let's look at these conditions. These are some dummy conditions we are taking to determine eligibility of the citizen. So in the real time, the conditions will be different like this: income check, age check, income check, property check, is the tax, is employment income, is rent income, is property income, is family income. So many details will be verified by the ED module, to determine eligibility for the citizen. Now, simple example, if you go for our state government, they are giving pension for the people who are having above 60 years. And in your family, if any person is paying the tax, then your father or mother is not eligible for the pension. Okay. So like this, such kind of rules will be available. So similarly, for every plan, there are rules available in our application. So which plan citizen is applying? Citizen data should satisfy with those plan rules. If citizen data matching with those plan rules, then citizen will be approved for that plan. Otherwise, citizen will be denied for that plan. So in the entire IES application, this eligibility determination is most important. Got my point? So citizens are coming to our office, they are talking to caseworker, they are applying for the application, their application registered, their SSN number belongs to Rhode Island state, their application is registered. Then we need to collect the data, which plan they want to apply, income, education, kids, all kind of data we are going to capture, and we are going to store their data into database. Once their data is stored into database, then we need to determine the eligibility. So that is what we are going to develop today. Eligibility determination. Could you please read these points? Theoretically, we need to understand what is ED module and what conditions are available and how to write the coding for this. After the data collection completed, eligibility determination module execution will start. That ED module is responsible to determine citizen is eligible for the applied plan or not based on the plan conditions and citizen data. Who will provide plan conditions, guys? Programmer will decide the conditions, or RI state government will decide the conditions? Who will give the rules, guys? Rules will be decided by the programmer, or rules will be decided by our project manager? No. RI state government will give the rules. We need to follow those rules and we need to implement them. Right. Conditions. Can you please read the sample conditions? Guys, these are dummy conditions. These are dummy conditions. Okay, in the real time, for every plan, 1,000, 1,500 conditions are available. Okay, these conditions we will follow in our project. In our dummy project, we are going to follow these conditions, not all the real conditions. Clear? SNAP. If employment income less than 300, eligible. CCAP. If employment income less than 300, kids count greater than 0, each kid age is less than 16, eligible for CCAP. Medicaid. Income less than 300, property income is also 0. Employment income less than 300, property rent income is 0, eligible for Medicaid. Medicare. Age is greater than 65, eligible for Medicare. RIW. Unemployed and graduate. He is completed his graduation, but he is unemployed. Then only he is eligible for RIW. Got my point? So can we start this project creation now? Can we start this project creation now? Guys, please respond. Yeah. So let us develop this ED API. First, we need to do our analysis. Then we need to start our coding part. Okay. Before that, let me create and import that project into my IDE. Start.spring.io, Maven project, Spring Boot, Java, Maven, Spring Boot. Yeah. Base group ID, artifact ID. What is this API? Number I want to see. 1, 2, 3, fourth. ED API, package, jar file, Java 8, something like this. Generate. Oh my God. Forgot to add the dependencies, guys. So let me add them. Dev tools, web dependency, data JPA, MySQL, security, actuator, security, actuator, right? Dev tools, web, data JPA, MySQL, security, actuator dependencies I'm taking. Click on generate. So the project will be downloaded from initializer website. This is the project. Extract that zip file. Yes. ED API project is created. Go to this in the workspace. Let me keep this project ED API. Let me import that ED API into our STS IDE. Import existing Maven project ED API. Select this folder. Click on finish. Okay. So ED API imported into our IDE, guys. Good. ED API imported into our IDE. Now here, coming to database tables. As we discussed, ED API should access all the tables. ED API should access IAS plans table, which plan citizen is applying. Okay. ED API should access YAPS table, citizen case number, YAPS table. ED API should access IAS income data. ED API should access citizen education data. ED API should access kids data. ED API should access eligibility details. Eligibility details table is available. Okay. ED API should access all this information. So we need to understand which plan citizen applied, what is citizen case number, citizen income, citizen education, citizen kids, and finally storing the eligibility data into eligibility details table. So lot of tables are available. ED API should communicate with all the tables. So for that, what I will do is in the DC, whatever the entities we have created, let me copy those entities and repositories. Already we created entities and repositories in the DC API. All those entities we need in the ED also. YAP entity, education entity, income entity, kid entity, plan selection entity, user entity, all the entities we have taken. One extra entity is required, that is eligibility details entity, that we have already kept in the admin API. That eligibility entity is also required. What is the purpose of eligibility entity? This eligibility entity is used to store the citizen details. That means which plan citizen applied, what is the status of the plan, what is the benefit amount, what is the denial reason, okay, plan status, benefit amount, and some other information. Private string, private local date, plan start date, plan start date, eligibility start date, plan local date, end date. Okay, eligibility start date. That means when that eligibility got started for that citizen, when the eligibility will be ended for that citizen, private, plan status, approved, benefit amount, start date, end date, private string, denial reason. If that particular citizen got denied, what is the reason for the denial? Plan status. Okay, then we are going to specify private string plan ID and private string login case number. So what is that citizen case number and which plan he applied? What is the status of that plan? What is the benefit amount? Eligibility start date, end date, denial reason. All that information we need to maintain in our eligibility details table. Eligibility details table will represent all this data. Okay, good. So eligibility details entity will be available, which is used to store eligibility data. For the eligibility table, we need one repository. Eligibility repository will be available. Eligibility repository will be available, which is used to communicate with the eligibility table to perform CRUD operation. That means inserting the data, inserting eligibility details into the eligibility details table. Eligibility repository is available. Eligibility repository will use eligibility table, eligibility details. In the eligibility details, plan ID, which plan they applied, what is the case number, what is the status, what is the benefit amount, what is the start date, what is the end date, what is the denial reason. So if you see here, when citizen eligibility is determined, we are going to get citizen applied for which plan, citizen status, when the eligibility started, when the eligibility will end, how much benefit amount they are getting, what is the denial reason. If citizen is approved for the plan, denial reason will not be available. If a citizen is denied for the plan, then denial reason will be available. Okay. So whenever we click on determine eligibility, it will execute the plan conditions. It will determine the eligibility. It will store the data into eligibility details table, and we need to fetch here. Then generate correspondence button. So whenever you click on generate correspondence button, one notice will be inserted to CO notices table. Okay. We have not created the table as of now. We analyzed that we need a table called CO notices, but we have not created entity for that. Let me create one entity for that to store the notices information. To store the eligibility details table we have created. What about the notices? To store the notices information, we need to create one entity, CO notice entity. CO notice entity. In the CO notice entity, we are going to specify @entity. This is entity class. @table name is equal to CO notices. Name is equal to CO notices. Now, notice ID, private integer notice ID, private long case number. Notice belongs to which case number? Private string notice status. Whether the notice is pending or it is history. What is the notice status? So write notice status and private string notice URL. The notice will be stored into S3 bucket. We are not going to store the PDF directly in our table. That will be stored into S3 bucket. That S3 bucket URL we are going to display here. So this notice belongs to which case number, and what is the notice ID belongs to which case number, what is the status of the notice, is it pending or history, and what is the URL for the notice. Okay. Now this notice belongs to which edge trace ID, that also we are going to specify. Notice ID is a primary key, @ID and @generated value. And this notice belongs to which edit record, private integer edge trace ID. Okay. When that notice is print, private local date, notice print date. When that notice got printed, right? Notice ID, case number, trace ID, PDF URL, notice URL. When it is printed, what is the status of the notice? When that notice got generated. Notice is generated date. That is nothing but created date will be available. So these are the things that we need in the CO notices table. What is the purpose of notices table? Once your eligibility, whenever your data collection is completed, you will go to eligibility determination. Once you go to eligibility determination, you will click on this button, determine eligibility. It will determine eligibility for that citizen and it will insert the data into ED table. This is eligibility entity. It will insert the data into eligibility details table. After that, it will display the response in the UI. This is your eligibility. One record will be available. Once the eligibility came, we will click on generate correspondence. The notice should be generated for the citizen. That notice should be displayed here. Notice should be generated for the citizen. That notice should be displayed here. Getting eligibility table and notice table. For this notice table, I'm generating some setters and getters, guys. Click on generate. Setters and getters got generated for notice entity. CO notices table to store the notices details. Notice URL will be same, but actual notice will be available in the AWS S3 bucket. Got it. Next one. For this entity, we need a repository, CO notice repository to perform DB operations. Repository package available. Let me create the interface. CO notice repo. So we are going to create a repository by extending the properties from JPA repository. Right. What is the entity? CO notice entity. Right. Let me go with integer. Perfect. With this, eligible repository is available. Notice repository is available. For the remaining tables, already repositories we created in the DC. I copy pasted existing repositories and the new repositories I have created for eligibility table interaction and CO table interaction. Clear with my point, guys? Are you clear with this point? Yeah. So all these tables we are going to communicate from eligibility module. From eligibility API, we are going to communicate with all these tables because we need to get plan data to execute the conditions. We need to get the case number information. Based on the case number, we need to get the data, income data, education data, kids data. And once the eligibility is determined, eligibility details table will be available and CO notices table is available to insert notices information. That means whatever the PDFs are generated, we are going to store those PDFs. And those PDFs will be stored in the S3 bucket. PDF URL will be stored into our table. This is how the process will be there in the real time. For storage purpose, S3 buckets. That bucket can contain object. Every PDF is called as one object. That object URL we will store into our database table. All right. Now guys, look at this screen, eligibility screen. Remember, for one case number, one record will be available, not multiple. I have given multiple to understand the structure of the data. For one record, for one case number, one eligibility will be available. So based on this, can you tell me what binding classes are required and how many methods are required for ED? Look at this. What binding classes are required and what methods, how many methods required? How many methods required for this screen development? What binding classes are required? I will give 2 minutes of time. Can you guys analyze that? Before I'm going to write the code, can you think and tell me? Can you think and tell me how many binding classes we need for this? Come on, guys. Are you guys thinking? Only few people are responding regarding analysis. How many binding classes? And how many methods? Right? Guys, completed? Yeah. Let me go for binding package in the ED API. Binding package in the ED API. ED response. Creating one class with a name called ED response. What is the purpose of ED response? ED response will display all this information to the screen. ED response is one binding class that is required. It will display all this information on the screen, because from this screen only case number will come as the input. For the request information, we don't need any button. To capture the data from the citizen, we don't need any button. Got it? I mean to say, when you want to determine the eligibility, only case number will come to the backend. Based on the case number, we need to fetch all the data of citizen. We need to determine the eligibility. Only case number will go as the input from the UI. So for that, binding class is not required. Once you click on the button, response should come. What is the plan? What is the status? What is the start date, end date, benefit amount, denial reason? So to display this data, I'm taking one binding class called ED response binding class. So let us generate setters and getters here. Along with this case number, status, plan name also required for that, private string, plan name. We need to display case number, plan name, plan status, start date, start date, end date, benefit amount, and a denial reason. If the plan is approved, then he will get the benefit amount. If the plan is denied, then he will get the denial reason. So these are the fields we are taking for the response binding class. This is for sending the response for eligibility screen. For these variables, let me generate setters and getters. Okay. So one binding class I'm taking here, which is used for displaying the response, which is used to send the response from the back end to front end. For request, we don't need any binding class. The reason, the request will come only with the case number. Based on the case number, we need to determine the eligibility and we need to send eligibility details to the UI. Okay. Now after that, generate the correspondence. So we need to generate the correspondence based on the eligibility information that what is available for the citizen, right? So when you click on generate correspondence, based on the case number, a notice trigger will be inserted there. Then that notice will be printed later point of time. Simple one record will be inserted into CO notices table. Now go to service. Let us create one service interface, elig service in .ashokit.service. Let me create the name of the interface is elig service, which is used to determine eligibility. It is elig service. It is used to determine elig service. So what are the methods I'm taking in the elig service? It will take case number as the input. It will give elig response as the output. So simple public that is ED response. Public ED response. Yeah. Public ED response. ED response. Find eligibility or determine eligibility. Determine eligibility. Based on what? Case number. Case number will come from the UI. This method is responsible to determine the eligibility, provide eligibility response. And here we are having generate correspondence concept, right? Whenever I click on button, correspondence should be generated. So for this, I'm taking public boolean generate CO. Public boolean generate CO. What is generate CO? It is going to insert a record on the table. It is going to insert the record on the table. So that one, whatever the notice we want, generate for that eligibility, whatever the eligibility is determined, for that eligibility, we can generate a notice. So when I click on generate correspondence, that notice will be inserted. That notice will be inserted. And if you want all the notices to display on this page, okay, then you can do like that. You can send list of CO notices. What are the notices we are having? What are the eligibility records? Or what are the eligibility records that we have? We can send those eligibility records back to the correspondence module. If you want, for the generate correspondence method also, you can take same ed response as a return type. Then what will happen? Whatever the eligibility determinations completed for that, we can send list of eligibility determinations. What are the list of eligibility determinations are available? We can send those list of eligibility determinations here. Determine eligibility. This is going to take the case number, will determine the eligibility. Once eligibility determined, that eligibility details will come in the response. When I click on generate correspondence, for this present eligibility record, for this present record, correspondence record will be inserted. And what are the list of correspondences are available? Those list of correspondences will come here. That means you can take one more, what I can say, one more binding class, that is CO response. I can say a binding class as CO response. So you can specify CO response as list of CO responses when you go for generate correspondence. It will generate a correspondence for that citizen, and all the existing citizen correspondences for that case number will be displayed here. Observe, once eligibility determination is completed, when you click on generate correspondence, it is generating a notice, and all the notices which are available are displaying in the view notices page. So view notices page can be loaded from here. View notices page can be loaded from here. In two ways we can do this. So if you take boolean as a return type, then what will happen? It will display a success message saying that correspondence is inserted. When I click on generate correspondence, it will say correspondence is inserted. The correspondence got generated. A success message we can display. So let me go with the success message saying that correspondence is inserted. In the correspondence API, we can write the method to retrieve all the records to display here. Whatever the records available for that particular case number, we can display. That logic we can develop in the correspondence API. So what are the records available? What records are in the pending? What records are in the history? Those notices we can display. Okay. So here I'm taking two methods. One method to determine the eligibility and display eligibility response. One method to generate the notice for that eligibility record. That's it. Displaying the correspondence based on the case number, we will write that code in the CO API implementation, not in the ED. In the ED, just correspondence will be inserted, success message will be displayed on the screen. Good. So this is our LG service. Guys, understand the interface methods? Come on, guys. Are you able to identify the methods like this? Yeah. If you're taking Boolean, then in the binding, CO response is not required. Because in the ED, once the correspondence is generated, simple, success message will come on the screen. Eligibility determined successfully. Eligibility determined successfully. Perfect. Now, so we need one REST controller to do this. New class REST. Okay. ED REST controller. We need to inject the service. REST controller we are taking, and we need to inject the service. Private ED service, LG service basically. LG service is available. Now, how many methods we need in the REST controller, guys? We need two methods. One is to determine the eligibility. Another one is to generate the correspondence. Right? Yeah. Let's write a method. Click response entity of ED response. Determine eligibility. Right. So we are going to get the case number only from the UI. The case number we are taking as a path variable. Let us map this determine eligibility. By sending the case number, I want to get the eligibility data. So let me go for get mapping elig. Elig determination. I want to determine eligibility for that. Now let me call elig service. Elig service dot determine eligibility based on the case number. It will return response. Whatever the response we are getting, we need to send that response back to UI. New response entity of response comma HTTP status dot OK. This is the method that will determine the citizen eligibility and will display eligibility details for us. Determine eligibility. Enter the case number, click on button, eligibility data will come. Then we need one method that is used to generate correspondence for the citizen. To generate that correspondence, we are taking simple public response entity, public response entity, generate correspondence, right? Generate CO. Based on the case number, we need to generate the CO. Once the CO is generated, a success message will go. Elig service dot generate CO based on the case number. For the case number, whatever the latest eligibility record, based on that one correspondence will be generated. Okay. It is going to return status, whether the correspondence is generated or not. True or false. True means record will be inserted. True means record will be inserted. So if status is true, then we need to generate the correspondence for that eligibility record, whatever we have determined. So then we are going to return new response entity of some success message with OK. HTTP status dot OK. So here we can say the message as notice generated. Notice generate. Here we can say notice not generate. If there is some problem, then with that we can say internal server error. Either notice generated or not generated. So this also I'm saying that generate notice with get mapping, right? CO with the case number we are giving as a path variable. Here also case number will come as a path variable to determine the eligibility. So to represent it as a path variable, I'm writing annotation like this. One method is used to get the eligibility data. One method is used to generate the correspondence. Look at these methods. These are our REST controller methods, guys. One is used to determine eligibility. Another one is used to generate correspondence. Guys, are you clear with this? What are the methods we are writing? Determine the eligibility and generating the correspondence. Now, we need to write service layer for that. Eligi service, new class, Eligi service IMPL. Eligi service IMPL, which will implement our eligibility service. Good. So how to represent this service? By using @service annotation. And we need to determine the eligibility. To determine the eligibility, case number is available. Okay. Based on the case number, first we need to understand citizen applied for which plan. Get citizen plan data using case number. Once you get the plan data, then we can understand which conditions we need to execute for which plan. Whether citizen applied for SNAP or citizen applied for CCAP or for Medicaid or Medicare or RAW. Citizen applied for which plan, we need to find out that first. Okay, guys. So I already have a case number. If I have a case number, can I get the plan data? Which plan citizen applied? If I have the case number, can I know citizen applied for which plan? If I have case number, can I know citizen applied for which plan? For this, we need to talk to private plan selection repo. We need to go for plan selection repo. Plan selection repo will maintain this citizen applied for which plan. Citizen applied for which plan. Plan selection will be available. Plan selection ID, right? And that he is applied for which plan. That plan ID will be available, right? So if you go for plan selection table, in the plan selection table, we are maintaining what is the case number, and that case number belongs to which plan. Plan ID will be available. So based on the plan ID, we need to get the information. Based on the plan ID, we need to get the information. So we need to write a variable here. Citizen applied for which plan? Private integer plan ID. Which plan that citizen applied? Whether the citizen applied for SNAP or CCAP or RIW or Medicare or Medicare. We need to understand that, right? The plan ID, which plan he applied, plan ID will be available here. Now, based on the plan ID, we need to get based on the case number, we need to get that record. In the plan selection repo, we will write a method, public plan selection entity, find by plan ID, find by case number. So find by case number, we need to write one method. Okay, so for this, we will write a query, find by case number from plan selection entity, where case number equal to given case number. We will pass case number as a input for this method. We will pass case number as a input for this method. Then based on the case number, we will get the plan selection entity. So that we will understand citizen applied for which plan. Plan selection repo dot find by case number. I am getting a record. Which plan he applied? I got the plan ID. Plan selection record. So the plan selection record will have the plan ID. Based on the plan ID, I want to get the plan information. Private plan repo is available. Plan repo will maintain a record. Plan ID will be available. From this, I want to get the plan ID. Citizen applied for which plan? Plan selection dot get plan ID. Plan selection dot get plan ID. Once you get the plan ID, based on the plan ID, you can get the plan name. Plan repo dot find by ID. It is a primary key. Find by ID, pass plan ID dot get. You will get the plan entity. Based on the plan entity, you can get the plan name. Citizen applied for which plan? So with this, we are able to get what is the plan applied by that citizen in order to determine eligibility. So to determine the eligibility, we are just getting the case number. So now what I am doing, based on the case number, I'm getting the plan selection. Which plan citizen selected? I got the plan ID which he selected. So here, what is that plan ID? We got it. So that ID belongs to which plan? What is the name of the plan? The plan name is available in the plan table. So based on the plan ID, I'm getting the record from the plan table. Then I can find out the plan name which citizen applied. Get citizen plan name using case number. So this is the code I'm writing to get the plan name of the citizen who applied. Are you clear with this code? At the time of data collection, we have selected the plan selection. Citizen, you want to apply for which plan? Medicaid. Okay, click on submit. It will store into plan selection table. Which plan citizen is applied? It will store into plan selection table. Right. So that's why based on the case number, I'm getting the plan selection record. From the plan selection record, I'm getting the plan ID. Based on the plan ID, I'm getting the plan record from the plan table. From that, I'm getting the plan name. So this is the plan name which is citizen applied. Now, here we need to check the conditions. What conditions we need to check here? We need citizen income data. We need citizen education data. We need citizen kids data. Okay, so we need to inject all that information here. Income data is required. Private income repo. Because income details are required. And we need education details. Private education repo. That is edu repo. and we need kids details, private kid repo, auto Y. Good. Now we got the plan name. Get citizen information. Get citizen info using case number. So once you have the case number, you can get the income data, you can get the education data, you can get the kids data also. Now first let me get the income data. Let me get the income data. Income repository is available. Income repo dot find by income ID. I need to go for find by case number. Now let me go for income repo. There is no method to get the record based on the case number. You can write one method here. Public income entity find by case number. Okay, we will pass case number as a parameter at the rate query. So what we will do here, from income entity where case number is equal to the given case number. Whatever the case number we are passing, based on that I want to get the income record, right? So income record we can get. So once we get the income record, we can use that. Find by case number, I'm passing the case number, which will give me income entity. Similarly, I need to go for education repository, kids repository. I need to write a method, public education entity find by case number, long case number. Case number will be available in all these tables, right? I'm going here at the rate query annotation, and I'm going to specify from education entity where case number is equal to given case number. I'm writing a custom query to get that record. Then with this education repository, we can get the education data. Edu repository dot find by case number, which will give education entity. Similarly, kid entity. We need to get the kids data based on case number. Okay, one case number can have more than one kid. That's why we are going to write public list of kid entity. We can get multiple kids. List of kids we can get here. That's why I'm writing public kid, list of kid entity, find by case number. Find by case number, long case number. Now let me go for at the rate query annotation from kid entity where case number is equal to given case number. Got my point. This will give you list of kids record. Now in the service, we need to get the kids data. How to get the kids data? Kid repo dot get kid repo dot find by case number, which will give you list of kids. Maybe one kid or maybe two kids. One family can have more than one kid also. That's why here I'm taking list of kids. So based on the case number, I'm getting plan selection record. From that, I'm getting the plan ID. From the plan ID, I'm getting the plan entity. From the plan entity, I'm getting the plan name. Fine. Plan name I understood. And I want to execute the plan conditions. What are the plan conditions? Here, we have the plan conditions. If it is a SNAP, we need to check some condition. If it is a CCAP, we need to check some condition. If it is a Medicaid, Medicare, RIW, for every plan, different conditions are available. Got it? Now, so to check those conditions, we need the data. So first we are fetching the data. Now, I got this data. So I need to check the conditions. If conditions are satisfied, I need to approve the citizen. If conditions are not satisfied, then we need to deny the citizen. How can we do this? First, we need to check what is the plan. If a plan name is a snap, if a snap dot equals to plan name, then I need to check the condition, whether that citizen is approved or denied for the plan. Approved or denied plan details we will set in the ED response object. ED response is equal to new ED response. Right. So this is the final response we need to send to the UI response object. Now for this response object, already we know what is the plan. Response dot set plan name. We already got the plan name. Response dot set case number. We already got the case number. Plan name is available. Case number is available. Snap. If the plan name is a snap, what is the condition? Employment income should be less than $300. Employment income should be less than $300. Then he will be approved. Otherwise, he will be denied. Okay. Now, here, income condition we need to check. If the plan name equals to snap, if the plan name equals to snap, then what we need to check? Then immediately I need to check the income. Immediately I need to check the income. Income entity dot get salary income. That is nothing but our employment income. I'm getting the salary income. Employment income, nothing but salary income. Now here I'm going to check if salary income less than, if salary income is greater than 300. If salary income is greater than 300, then he will be denied for the plan. Otherwise, he will be approved for the plan. If a salary income is less than or equal to 300, then eligible. Suppose if the salary income greater than 300, then we will set response dot set plan status as denied. What is the reason? Response dot set denial reason high income, high salary income. Because of this reason, this person will be denied for the plan. Okay, guys. You understand my point? So we got the case number. Based on the case number, I'm getting the plan name. And now for every plan, some rules are available. For every plan, we need to execute those rules. So for this, if the plan name is a snap, then some conditions will be available. If a plan name is a CCAP, some conditions. Medicare, some conditions. Like this, for every plan, some conditions are available. So I'm writing the conditions for one plan. Salary. If salary is greater than 300, then response will be denied. What is the reason for the denied? High salary income. If he is denied, status will not be approved, status will not be there. Benefit amount, start date, end date will not be available because he's already denied for the plan. He's already denied for the plan. If it is not greater than 300, then what we can set? Response dot set plan status as approved. When this plan is approved, he will get some benefit amount. Response dot set benefit amount. For example, I'm giving $350 as a benefit amount. Okay. And response dot set plan eligibility start date. When the eligibility start date, local date. Done. Now, from today, he is eligible. Response dot set end date. What is the eligibility end date? Local date dot now dot plus months. I'm giving the plans for next 6 months. From today, next 6 months, he will have that person will have the eligibility. Eligibility start date is today. Eligibility end date today plus 6 months. For next 6 months, eligibility will be available for that citizen. Plan status is approved. Plan benefit amount is $350. Eligibility start date is today. Eligibility end date. If the plan is denied, the income is greater than 300, then plan status will be denied. What is the reason for the denial? High salary income will be available. If the income is not greater than 300, then the citizen plan will be approved. He will get some benefit amount. He will get the benefit start date, eligibility end date. So this is for SNAP. Similarly, we need to check if it is a CCAP. We need to check the conditions. If CCAP dot equals to plan name, then we need to write the logic here. Condition check. Okay. Similarly, if it is else if the plan name is a Medicaid, for Medicaid, what are the conditions are available? If a Medicaid dot equals to plan name, logic to check the conditions. Else if the plan name is Medicare, if the plan name is Medicare, for the Medicare I have given the conditions. You need to check that logic for that. Else if the plan name is RIW, then for RIW some conditions are available. For RIW some conditions are available. We need to check the logic for that. Once all these things are done, eligibility information will be available. Na? We need to store that into eligibility table. Okay. Elig entity will be available. Elig entity is equal to new elig entity. Copy bean utils dot copy properties from whatever the response we have. We need to store the response into entity. That entity we need to insert into database table. For that, let me inject elig repository object. After determining the eligibility, we need to store eligibility data into a database table. We need to store eligibility data into database table. Eligirepo. Got it. Now I'm going to call this method eligirepo.save. Eligirepository.save of entity. The record will be inserted. Finally, it is going to return elig response. Whatever the response we have determined. Whatever the response we have determined like this. For SNAP, this is the condition. Similarly, for CCAP, some conditions. For Medicaid, some conditions. For Medicare, some conditions. For RIW, some conditions. So once all these conditions, every plan will have a specific condition. For SNAP, I have taken one condition. Now you imagine in the real time, for SNAP, 1000 conditions will be available. Okay. CCAP, some conditions. Medicaid, some conditions. Medicare, some conditions. RIW, some conditions. So based on the conditions, it will determine whether that citizen is eligible for the plan or citizen is denied for the plan. Whatever the eligibility data we got, we are inserting that eligibility data into database table. We are inserting that eligibility data into database table. Once the record is inserted into the table, we need to send that eligibility response back to the UI, right? That's why I'm returning that response. Once it is determined, eligibility determined, we should get the table data. Na? For that, we are inserting the record into the table. We are returning the response. This response will represent maybe approved plan or denied, maybe approved eligibility citizen or a denied eligibility citizen. I want you to complete this logic by writing the conditions for the remaining plans. Here you can check the remaining plan conditions. I have given the plan conditions here. For CCAP, income should be less than 300, kid count should be greater than 0, kid age should be less than 60. For Medicare, age should be 65, then only eligible for Medicare. How can we check that? Already we have citizen date of birth. Already we have citizen date of birth in the app table. Based on the date of birth, you need to calculate the age. If age is above 60, then only approved. If age is below 60, then it will be denied. How to check RIW? RIW, if citizen is unemployed and graduated, then eligible, otherwise not eligible. So based on the conditions, you need to write the logic here to determine citizen is approved or citizen is denied. Approved or denied. Once you got that response, you will prepare the response, right? Which will contain approved record or denied record. That data we are copying to entity. Using entity, we are inserting a record into database table. Finally, we are returning the response for that. Here, one record will be inserted into correspondence table. CO notices table, dummy record will insert because we don't have the plan. It's just a notice should be generated. Just one notice should be generated. CO notices table. A record should be inserted. Insert record into CO table. Case number available. Based on the case number, you can get the eligibility record. Based on the eligibility, plan ID, plan name, you can insert into CO. Get ED record based on case number. Insert into CO table. That's it. Can you complete this condition check and this method now? Yes. I will push this code to GitHub and I want you to take this and implement the logic. New repository. I'm making it as ED API. Create a repository. Go to the workspace. ED API workspace. Git bash. I have completed almost 90% code, guys. The remaining 10% I want you to try. Git init, git add -a, git commit -m. This is my initial commit. Okay. Then go for git branch. Push this code to GitHub. Git remote add, git push. Project is pushed to Git repository. I want you to complete that 10% logic, whatever is pending. Check the conditions for the remaining plans and insert the record into CO table. I gave my Git repo in the chat box. Can you click on that? Guys, I have given Git repo in the chat box. Are you able to access the code? Yeah, perfect. So please go through this API, whatever we have done. You need to complete the logic check for the remaining plans and you need to insert one record into CO table. That's it. Good, guys. Thank you. With this, I'm stopping. Tomorrow we'll meet again. Tomorrow we'll work on correspondence API. What is the logic we need to write for the correspondence and how to implement multi-threading in the correspondence? We will learn in the tomorrow session. Okay, today night 9:30 p.m. No class, guys. I have some meetings. So we have class directly tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. Okay. Guys, mock-up screens, I'm unable to upload into S3 bucket. It is taking a lot of time. I will take the screenshots and I will share the screenshots. Yesterday, I tried uploading into S3 bucket, but it is not taking due to huge content. I will try to do it again today and or else I will share the screens at least. Got it? Fine. Thank you. Please go through this ED API and please complete the remaining logic. Clone this project into your local and you work on the pending part, whatever we have. Good guys. Thank you. Have a great day. We'll meet again tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll work on correspondence API with multi-threading. So don't miss the tomorrow session. Implementation of multi-threading in the real time. So that topic we are going to learn tomorrow. Good. Thank you guys. See you tomorrow.